What is up, gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode on the channel. As always, so glad to have you lovely folks on here. On today's episode, we'll be looking at the watch, the quintessential mechanical watch. Why should you wear one in 2023? Is it even necessary? Watches can cost somewhere between $1,000 to upwards of $100,000. It's a huge investment, and at this stage, isn't it just for telling the time? Do we need a watch to tell the time? Is that the only functionality of a watch? Well, on this episode, I wanted to give you guys a different way of looking at the beautiful world of watches and seeing truly the hidden gems that there are to discover. As someone who's been into watches for the last 5-10 years, I've always appreciated the untouched side of watch and what it can do to your day-to-day life and what it can allow you to believe about yourself. So without further ado, if you guys are interested in getting into your first watch, or whether you've just started to scratch the surface and you want to be tipped over the edge, well, this is going to be the episode for you. Let's start off by discussing the elephant in the room. Is a watch necessary? Absolutely not. It's nowhere near necessary. With the modern advent of technology and the fact that we can pretty much can't walk anywhere between 5 and 10 meters without seeing a clock, it's not about telling the time. A watch's purpose in this life is not about accurate timekeeping. It's not about knowing what day of the week it is or what day of the month it is. A watch is something that you can completely throw away if you look at it from a utilitarian and functional standpoint. We know a watch is not necessary, but why are there so many options out there? Why are there so many watches to choose from that we seemingly can't even begin to wrap our hands around what is the right type of watch for us? And this is both a positive and a negative, but I'll explain to you my way of looking at watches and ultimately how I go about choosing watches. First thing we need to know about a watch is, are we going for a mechanical or are we going for a quartz movement? So mechanical is a self-winding movement, something that the movement within the watch itself keeps the hour, the clock hand ticking, tick, 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 tick. This is the classical way of watchmaking. With the modern advent of quartz movements from Japan, then we're able to bring in batteries that allow the watch to take far more effort than a mechanical movement at a much more affordable price. And then we can look at electronic watches or smart watches like Apple Watches. And when it comes to selecting the right one for you, well, it always is going to come down to your personal preference. A lot of people, when getting into watches, they fall in love with the mechanical side of things because of that beautiful sense of horology and ultimately that nostalgia of a craftsman spending hours upon hours putting together a watch. It just elevates it to the next level and allows you to appreciate the things that are unseen. And this is what I believe a watch is able to begin touching on. It's the things that are not said and the things that are not seen. So let's just say you pick a mechanical watch. What watch is going to be right for you? Well, let's look at things like materials. When it comes to the most versatile daily use watch, you can either go for a stainless steel watch, which is going to be affordable and it's going to be very versatile, or you can go for a watch that is made out of some sort of canvas, some sort of leather like a NATO strap or a pure or a fake leather strap. This is going to be a bit more for a classy or less casual situation. Then if you want to take it a step further, you can go for precious metals. You have rose gold, you have platinum, you have regular gold. There, you're going to be making more of a statement and having more of a showpiece type watch. But if you're watching this video, most likely you're just starting off with watches. What I recommend is either go for a NATO strap that is going to give you a more casual look, a rubber strap, or if you can afford it, go for a stainless steel watch. It's going to have a lot of variety to it. The second thing is going to be the size of the watch. The diameter of the watch is going to reflect how well or how large it's going to wear on your wrist. For most men, they're going to be wearing watches between 36 and 45 millimeters. For most women, it's going to be somewhere between 28 and 36 millimeters. Of course, you can wear a larger watch. The larger your wrist is, the larger the watch is going to need to be. So make sure to pick a watch that is in line with the size of your wrist. The easiest way to do this is to actually go out and to test the watch in store, because different watches, though they may advertise a specific case diameter, they will wear differently because of the thickness or the lug-to-lug dimensions. So make sure to go out and pick the watch that's right for you. The last thing is going to be the actual watch itself. What type of watch? Is it a dive watch? Is it a dress watch? Is it a master of complications, right? Is it a chronograph? The watch that is going to be right for you is going to be a little bit about who you are as a person. And perhaps you may not have one watch that is able to satisfy all of your needs. For me, I know that I like to have a dressy watch that is on a Jubilee bracelet. The Jubilee bracelet is very ornamented, it's very dressy, it's very classy, and I like to wear that when I want something with a bit more pop. Then I have an understated, very regular oyster style bracelet that is a minimalistic watch that is under the radar that I like to wear day to day when I want to just blend in. And then I have a watch that wears slightly larger. It's a Submariner. It is a diver's watch, and it's one that has a very utilitarian and very rugged look, but it has an iconic look because of its Rolex Submariner heritage. So each of these watches is giving me something that I can't get with the other watch. Pick a watch that is closest to you in terms of your personality. And if I was to pick one, it would be the first watch, which is a Datejust on a Jubilee bracelet. I love the simplicity of it. It's a 36mm, but it speaks to who I am as a person. I like to dress a bit more classy, and I like to have a bit more of a sort of vibrancy in terms of how I dress. And the watch is the perfect addition to that. Now that we've looked at how to select the right watch for you, what can a watch do for you in terms of what is not seen? We have to understand that watches don't just represent the art of watchmaking, nor do they just represent the art of timekeeping. They represent the art of milestone taking. A great watch should be bought at a significant point in your life, whether it's the most expensive watch or whether it's a very affordable watch. What I find is that every single milestone that I've lived, if I can afford it, I like to tie something to that, a souvenir that reminds me of that time in my life. There's just something to be said about attaching a specific example or a significant event of something that you wanted and being able to achieve that thing and rewarding yourself for that thing. Being able to have a tangible piece of that is within budget and something that you can carry around with you on a day-to-day basis as a memento of what you've achieved and what you've set your mind to is insanely powerful. It's something you carry along with you, and it's a constant reminder of what you're able to achieve if you set your mind to it. So a watch is a silent way of registering a milestone, an important milestone in your life that just keeps you on track. It keeps you focused on the goal ahead, and it lets you consistently remind yourself of what is possible if you're able to truly set your mind to it. Last but not least, once we've set this idea of the milestone, I believe that having a watch on your wrist is a way of consistently reminding yourself that you are who you say you are, especially if it's a watch, if it's something that you've always wanted. If you set in your mind that I want to have this watch and I'm willing to do what it takes, I'm willing to sacrifice the hours of my life, I'm willing to go above and beyond, I'm willing to actually do the actions that most people are not willing to do to achieve the things that most people are not willing to achieve. And you are able to get to that point and you end up with that watch. Well, it's a way of reminding yourself of a promise you made yourself that you're able to achieve. It becomes another stack, another paper stack in the stack of proof of you and yourself and the fact that you are who you say you are. So the next time when you say something, you're able to say it with confidence because you have that physical reminder on your wrist that the last time you made a promise to yourself, the many promises that you needed to make to yourself to be able to achieve that goal you've made and you've kept over time. And that's the power in there. It's instant confidence. It's an instant reminder that you are undeniably the person that you say you are and the person that you project to the world that you are.